This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And a good Monday afternoon, Larry Prowati, Nick Prowati. It is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, being brought to you by Taco John's. Have you tried their fish tacos? Well, you definitely need to try that. Or their quesadilla tacos. It's all new, it's all delicious, and it's all at Taco John's of Cheyenne, including their loaded potato olays. And don't forget, tomorrow, it's Taco Tuesday, Taco John's of Cheyenne. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service over on Highway 30, your exclusive home for Jayco RVs, fifth wheels, travel trailers, and again, we got some 18s on the lot that need to go. Special pricing for you today, and special financing rates as well for the 19s. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service over on Highway 30. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, Ray and Cindy's Place, across from Menards. Remember, we're getting to that time of year here that we've got graduation season on the way, so if you need a cater out, let Chick-fil-A cater your party. Go to CheyenneChicken.com. They serve up 3 squares 6 days a week at Chick-fil-A of Cheyenne at the corner of Windmill and Del Range. Key of Cheyenne over on Nation Way, man, I'll tell you what, you go by the lot there, you definitely need to stop and walk on the lot and check out all the great 19s that Kia has to offer, including the Telluride. Yeah, the new SUV from Key of Cheyenne. See my good friend AJ and all of the crew over there at Key of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Platte Valley Bank ×2, the original location over on Vanda High, and the east side location at the corner of College and Pershing. Again, it is banking done the modern way, technology-wise for today, and again, banking done the old-fashioned way, and everything in between from Platte Valley Bank. Medicap Pharmacy, right there on Bluegrass Circle, next door to Texas Roadhouse. Again, with your doctor's prescription, Gene, his great staff will fill those medications for you, explain those medications. They have many sundry supplies inside at Medicap Pharmacy, or maybe you want to use a convenient drive-through outside. It's up to you. Medicap Pharmacy of Cheyenne. Lennox Auto Body over on Dunn Avenue. Again, the Auto and Truck Repair Center. And again, you have the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard, founded by Dick Lennox, a tradition carried on by his daughter, Heather. And again, we have First Tier Bank for you at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Right across the street is Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue. Suite D in the Greenway Commons, open 7 days a week. Mars Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue. Remember, Mars is on the job 24/7, and we get things underway with our scoreboard. It's being brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne with Nick.
Recapping local baseball from this past week, and we'll start with the Cheyenne Mustangs as this Saturday, as they got underway in a doubleheader, their first home contest over at Pioneer Park, doubleheader against Casper Crush. First contest was a 12-7 loss, and then second game up after that one wrapped up was a 14-1 loss for the Cheyenne Mustangs. So the Mustangs on this season are 1-4 overall. Moving over to Cheyenne Post 6, who are also 2 in action this weekend. Their season got underway officially. It started this Friday. Again, it was supposed to be set on Saturday, but due to the weather, they moved the game up to Friday. Either way, though, Friday's contest against the Laramie Rangers, they won 15-1. Saturday's contest against Rock Springs, they won 22-0. And how about Sunday against Rock Springs as well? They won 13-3. So Cheyenne Post 6, 3 home games, 3 wins on the season for the Post 6 Sixers. NHL action for tonight, 2 games on the slate. Washington Capitals travel to Carolina to see the Hurricanes, where the Caps lead that series 3-2. You can see that game on NBC Sports Network. And last but not least, the Dallas Stars at home at American Airlines Center will play host to the Nashville Preds. That game can be seen on CNBC, where the Stars have a 3-2 series lead in that one. That's what's happening. NHL action for tonight.
Major League Baseball games getting underway as we step on out. It will be the Phils at the Mets at Citi Field. Diamondbacks and the Pirates at PNC. It will be the White Sox and the Orioles at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Royals and the Rays in the Trop. It will be the Brewers and the Cardinals at Busch Stadium. That'll be at 5:45. 6 o'clock hour, Twins at the Astros. Nats and the Rockies tonight, 6:40 at Coors Field. Still at this time, it's undecided who will get the call for the Rockies tonight. It will be the Yankees and the Angels in the 8 o'clock hour. Other late games will have the Rangers at the Athletics. That'll be in the Oakland Coliseum. And wiped out already due to the weather, it will be the Motor City Kitties at Boston. That has been postponed. Looks like they're going to play a twin bill scheduled for tomorrow. On the NBA scoreboard, just a couple of series going on and could be wrap-ups here for tonight. So let's tell you real quick, it's Game 4 in Little Caesars Arena as the Pistons will play host to the Bucks. Milwaukee leading that series 3 games to none. I think that one will pretty much wrap up tonight. The Jazz have just rolled over and played dead. They are down 3-0 as they're in Salt Lake City at the Vivint Smart Home Arena. They will entertain the Houston Rockets again, down 3-0 to Houston. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, tea master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know goes into it. You can't be impatient. When I craft Pure Leaf iced tea, I don't take shortcuts, because I want you to have the same amazing taste of iced tea that I do. So I start with fresh picked tea leaves. Then, after they're delicately dried, I blend and brew them at a lower temperature to draw out their unique aromas. And then I taste and fine-tune the blend for a delicious smooth iced tea. I'd love to have you take a sip right now, but that's one thing we can't do over the radio. But you can experience the same delicious taste of Pure Leaf iced tea anywhere you are. I'm Alex White, Pure Leaf Tea Master. Pure Leaf, our thing is tea.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk today. We open up the program on kind of a downer note as we just received word from the University of Wyoming.
Well, official word. This has been known over the weekend, or at least what's happened.
Yeah, again, this is Craig Bohl, head coach, talking about the tragedy to one of his football signees. University of Wyoming head football coach Craig Bohl issued the following statement regarding 2019 Wyoming football signee Naphtali Moimoy of Hayward, California, who is missing off the coast of Half Moon Bay after being caught in a riptide while boogie boarding. Again, you've seen those signs when you've been on the beach before, if you've been out to the beach, strong undertow, that type of deal.
Again, for those obviously out here in Wyoming not understanding, we're landlocked out here, but again, explain a part of riptide and all that. Again, dealing with currents, dealing with strong, just kind of, where it kind of pulls you farther out to
the
sea.
Pacific, just if you get caught in it, it just tears you right out.
Yeah, it basically sends you farther out into kind of the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And again, it's just such a strong current. So those, at least folks who do not understand, again, obviously here in Wyoming, not close by to any oceans, or at least who've not experienced that.
We've got a lot of transplants out here.
But I'm just saying, explaining to those folks who have not made it out that far, again, that's how it works. So again, those waves, those currents kind of pull you adrift out there.
Anyway, according to Coach Bohl, they've been talking to Natalia's family, and their hearts go out and to the entire Moimoy family at this extremely difficult time. As a Cowboy football family, we're all thinking and praying of Naphtali, his family, and friends. Moimoy signed a national letter of intent with the University of Wyoming football program as a member of Wyoming's 2019 recruiting class. He played his high school football at Hayward High School in Hayward, was scheduled to join the Cowboy football team this coming summer. So, again, tragedy, bad news over the weekend, things that we, media, we hate to bring those out, we hate to talk about it because, again, it's, we follow the programs And it's almost like, we're losing, a member of the family as well, too, coming out.
Well, again, it's a human being. It's something that's very, tragic. Obviously, again, family is in concern right now. Again, nothing has been official of what has happened to him. Again, it's just the search is on out there in California to see where he could end up being at. And again, you can only hope for the best. But again, with those rip currents out there, especially in the Pacific, it's not a good situation. And again, with dealing with water and dealing all that, again, it's not a good sight. But hopefully, again, Coast Guard out there and all those at least emergency services are able to find him in time, or at least something positive can come from this. Again, with him hopefully being safe and sound.
All right, so I'm going to throw it open to you this afternoon, Nick. Where do you want to start?
We could start NBA finals, or at least NBA playoffs. We're not even close to the finals.
Well, let's go to the NBA playoffs.
I'm just saying we got NHL going on, a few series wrapped up, local baseball as well, too, as folks on the visual side can see. I got plenty of baseball this past weekend as I'm pretty much baked in the face and all over. But
I played, too, on Saturday. I got a game in.
Good for you. I watched at least the local teams, unlike some others here in town.
Oh, well, didn't they call a game?
Barely.
Okay.
It seemed like it. It barely seemed like it. Either way, though, we can start.
You're on that rampage. I like it.
I have to be after what's kind of happened. Where if you're going to copy us, at least try to do a lot better. But either way, though, NBA playoffs. You look at. We'll start down the road with the Denver Nuggets, where they evened up the series on Saturday, 2-2. Where again they finally got their first win in San Antonio since 2012. So
14 straight losses they had there.
Yeah. So at least finally getting over the Schneid, and again, what a perfect way to do that here, at least in the first round against the San Antonio Spurs. But however, you go back to Game 3 where San Antonio took care of business there in San Antonio, where they were up 2-1. Little interesting factoid that I saw in other media outlets were kind of posted it around, but for the Denver Nuggets, in franchise history, being down 2-1 in a series, it doesn't matter, if they came back and won the next game or whatever, but being down 2-1 in a playoff series in franchise history, Nuggets in 12 opportunities have never won those series. So does that kind of forebode at least what's going to eventually happen for the Denver Nuggets coming up in this series? Again, Denver, hey, you brought the emotion. You knew what was on the line. You got it done. You got the 14-point victory in Game 4 there in San Antonio. Again, a tough way to get it done. But
I think Game 5 goes to the Nuggets in the can. I think the Nuggets are going to win the series now.
I still pause on it and still give respect to San Antonio. Again, obviously, we've seen San Antonio can rebound. We've seen the Nuggets rebound. So, again, where you saw Game 1 go to the Spurs, Nuggets came back. Game 3, here comes the Spurs, Nuggets came back. Again, if you go in patterns, you would only assume that San Antonio should get Game 5.
If you watch the game on Saturday, this team, the Nuggets are a better team. Sorry. They are just a better basketball team.
They are on paper, but in this series, San Antonio is proving that they have a little slip-ups. And again, shooting the ball, it's a team that needs to find streaks. But again, in this series right now, I still think San Antonio is the better of the two.
Well, I think the Nuggets got the wake-up call, and I think the win in San Antonio.
I think this is a wake-up call for San Antonio.
I know, but the win in San Antonio was what the doctor ordered for the Nuggets. I think, again, it's the best out of 2 out of 3 now, and the Nuggets hold home court advantage. So basically, nobody's got any home court advantage right now.
No.
So I got to go with the Nuggets. I think the nerves and the inexperience label scratch it. They're ready to play ball now. And again, like I said, on paper, they're the better team.
They might have against San Antonio, but you look at the rest of the West right now of how things are shaping up. You go look at the 3-6 matchup where eventually, at least for Denver and San Antonio, whatever team moves on, they're going to be with the Trailblazers more than likely because OKC is pretty much done in that one as Portland's up 3-1 in that series. I don't see Denver, especially of how well Portland is playing right now. Portland is a team that is, vaulting themselves right now in the playoffs. Where are they a threat to make it to at least the conference finals? Possibly. I think absolutely. Is it a team that's going to represent the Western Conference, though, in the NBA Finals? Doubtful. But right now, if it goes the way that you think it is, if Denver moves on past San Antonio and Portland, who should, again, they're up 3-1 right now over OKC. I doubt OKC is going to run off the next 3 to get it to Game 7 and win Game 7. I doubt that. But Denver versus Portland, sorry. Nuggets, you're not better than what this Portland team's showing right now on the court. Portland's a very interesting team right now. They are,
and again, too, they got to come to Denver for 4 of the 7 games.
Okay, but again, we've seen San Antonio, a 7 seed that's already gone to Denver, and came out game one in the playoffs there at the Pepsi Center and knocked them in the teeth.
Yeah,
Portland can absolutely do that.
And
too.
again, the Denver Nuggets didn't know what they were in for, and now they do. Portland, yeah, they kind of, and really Oklahoma City's been more of a disappointment in the playoffs. They're no shows.
I don't know about disappointment. It's more so of, for Portland, it's good to see, at least for this team, where you can even see it like, with C.J. McCollum, where he's talking about, hey, we got the sweep last year. It was pretty disappointing. We have a new focus and a new mindset here. This is a Portland Trailblazers team that gets to the playoffs and just can't find a way to advance on. They find a way to sputter out early on in these rounds. And right now, Portland's looking like that team that absolutely could be taking on at least the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. I think absolutely.
If the Warriors get there, I mean, again, Houston has looked really, really good.
They have, but that is a series right now. Is Houston really good, or is Utah just playing really bad right now? Utah's
playing like they have no business being in the playoffs.
Yeah, Utah looks just absolutely pathetic right now. And again, Utah down 0-3 to the Houston Rockets.
And they'll get swept. I don't.
Yeah.
If they win,
even at home in Salt Lake City,
if they win tonight, it will be just short of a miracle. I think Houston will go ahead and sweep it. Warriors have found their mojo now.
Yeah, Warriors take care. They should take care of business. They're up 3-1. The Clippers are not doing anything.
The only thing that the Warriors did is they brought the Game 5 back to the Oracle Arena. Going to sell it out. Going to make more money for the NBA and themselves. That's what they're going to do.
I don't think that was the intention.
Well, no, but I mean that's what they're going to do, though. They're going to end up making more cash.
But right now, it's pretty much we know 3 teams are guaranteed. Again, Houston up 3-0. They're going to move on. Portland up 3-1. They're going to move on. Golden State over LA. They're going to move on, being up 3-1 right now. The big question. I think this is going to go 7 games, as everyone kind of thought and predicted. Absolutely, and I still think right now on paper, San Antonio is showing that they're the better team. And again, if I go off of odds, if I go off of trends in this series, and if I go off of also to the historic stats, it's not in favor of the Denver Nuggets. It's absolutely in favor of the San Antonio Spurs, where I think in Game 5, now coming back to the Pepsi Center, hey, they just got kicked in their teeth right now, at least losing 14 points. That's going to fuel a little bit of the fire there. They know how to get it done already in the Pepsi Center. They know how to win there. And I think in Game 5, San Antonio is going to set that mark.
And I disagree with you. And I think, too, and I agree on the 7 games, though. I think for the Denver Nuggets, the more they play, the better they'll get. Because, again, each game they play, that shrugs off
Denver's too
rookiness. Denver's in the playoffs.
Kind of too inconsistent for me to get things done, though.
But not at the can, though.
Like I said, Game 1, they got punched in the mouth.
Every once in a while, squirrel finds a blind squirrel finds a nut, and that's what San Antonio did. They caught the Denver Nuggets, rookie team. Jamal Murray was not ready to go in that game, and he sucked. Jokic never saw the basketball. Millsap never saw the basketball. Oops. Let's make an adjustment. Guess what? Millsap, Jokic are getting their touches now. Murray's finding open shots because, hey, if Jokic is covered, he knows now to go back to Murray. Again, the rookiness of being in the playoffs is off of their back.
No.
The more they play, the more experience they gain in the playoffs.
Again, we'll see if that theory pans out for the Denver Nuggets right now. Again, it's a team that I have no faith in, where against a San Antonio team where Denver, if you were that best team throughout the regular season, or at least did this impressive streak, and especially there at the Pepsi Center, you should have no business being tied 2-2 to the San Antonio Spurs, especially where, again, LaMarcus Aldridge, who is pretty much your shining piece right now for the San Antonio Spurs. You look back in at least Game 4, 24 points for him. Again, he's been that guy. DeRozan trying to be that at least complimenting piece, but right now for the San Antonio Spurs, Spurs, they don't have the weapons like the Denver Nuggets do, where, again, you mentioned with Paul Millsap, as much as Game 4 he was non-existent, only 2 points for 27 minutes, just didn't do anything. But, again, Jokic, Jamal Murray, Gary Harris really didn't do a whole lot in that one. But, again, you have multiple names with this Denver Nuggets team, multiple future stars. They're not superstars now is what NBA teams kind of rely on. They're not that level now, but again, you have more pieces a part of this team that should take care of San Antonio, but you're in my mind you're struggling right now when you're now tied with them 2-2. You're the second seed in a very tough Western Conference. And it doesn't show it right now.
Well, we'll see coming up here tomorrow night, and again, it's a very critical. And it's not a key; it's a very critical Game 5 for either team. So we'll see.
I would say more so for Denver in Game 5. You need that home win.
I think it's critical for the Spurs. If the Spurs lose Game 5,
but
they lose the series.
But I'm just saying, though, the Spurs have a slight glimpse of hope where, again, if you lose Game 5 being down 3-2, at least it's heading back to San Antonio where, again, Denver, yes, you finally got your first win there on the road at the AT&T Center, but it's proven throughout at least history since 2012 you've had difficulties.
I think Papa was happy when they finished in 7th and said, we got the Nuggets. And first thing he said is, they don't have the experience we have. First off, with Papa
and
as
it's showing.
coach,
it's showing that.
Yeah, and he still has veterans on that team that have been in playoff situations. So they know
They've been in playoff situations, but it's a team on paper, though, that has no business at least competing in the playoffs. That should have been, along the line of Houston or what Portland's doing right now, being down 3-1, being down 0-3. They have no business being tied 2-2 against the number 2 seed.
You said one key thing. You never turn your back on San Antonio.
No, you don't.
And again, they can sneak up and beat and bite anybody at any.
And they're showing
time.
that right now to the Denver Nuggets. That's why I'm just saying it's not a guarantee with Denver moving on in this series. It is absolutely not. It is something where it's going to go that 7 games. It has to. It just has to because it is that tightly close of a matchup that.
And so I said, Game 5 is critical for both teams, and like you said, probably more importantly for the Denver Nuggets, because if they don't win Game 5, I don't think they win the series.
No.
Again, it's must-win.
No, if San Antonio wins Game 5 and Game 6 heading back to the AT&T Center, wrap it up at Game 6.
You know what I've really been disappointed in the playoffs to this point is the 4-5 seeds in both the East and the West. Again, we're talking a game separated these two teams on both sides, Boston, Indiana, and again, Utah with Houston. And usually 4-5 is guaranteed 7 games, 6 games at the minimum.
On the West, between Houston and Utah, not surprising as much as Boston versus Indiana. Again, Houston, you go back to where they were last year, they were a 1 seed out of the West. They didn't lose a whole lot of pieces. Again, you still have at the core, James Harden and Chris Paul. You still have your big moneymakers there for the Houston Rockets. So going up 3-0 against a Utah Jazz team that doesn't have that superstar talent per se, that doesn't surprise me. But you look at Boston, Indiana, again, kind of similar situation where Boston was at top.
The Pacers just sucked the entire 4 games.
Yeah, as Boston does move on, they swept 4-0.
And Houston,
at least for Indiana, I wanted to believe that they were going to make it a little bit more competitive, get maybe 2 wins out of that. I had confidence that Boston would move on, but the Pacers just rolled over and just died.
Yeah, they were just awful. And again, Houston had a 3-game advantage over Utah in that 4-5 matchup. So we all kind of figured Houston was going to win, but Utah, wow, they're on a milk carton as well.
But it doesn't surprise me. Again, Houston, you go back to what they did last year, still retained a lot of that talent. Again, can't forget that they were the best team in the West last year over the Golden State Warriors, had more wins. This is a Houston team that made it to the Western Conference Finals. So what they're doing to Utah, and Utah rolled over and died last year.
So if Chris Paul plays Game 7, we may be talking about Houston trying to defend their championship.
It doesn't matter at this point, but I'm just saying of right now in 2019, Houston, you can't respect what they did last year. Again, they've retained most of that key components from last year's team, and going up 3-0 against Utah, not surprising. But the 4-5 out of the East for Boston and Indiana does surprise me a bit. But looking at a few other series there in the East, Milwaukee 3-0 over Detroit, no surprise. Milwaukee.
Yeah, but let's stop right there. Milwaukee and Boston. Now, Milwaukee has punished Detroit. Detroit really...
Well, Detroit is, as a unit, they're terrible. Yeah,
they have no business being there. Yeah. But let's try to handicap Boston and Milwaukee. Milwaukee was never challenged in that series.
Well, neither was Boston, clearly, going up 4-0. Milwaukee versus Boston, where both teams are going to sweep and have some time before the 3-6 matchup and the 2-7 get at least finalized, which they could get here soon. But, neither team has been tested. Boston does have the experience more than Milwaukee does, but Milwaukee does have, again, loads of just talent there to be a formidable team of what they've done to the regular season.
A lot of young talent that's pretty doggone good. I'm very impressed watching them. They're not a bad outfit, but Boston is sneaky, and they got the veterans on there. And again, first off, you throw out Kyrie Irving, and Irving is he can put the team on his back. He is that good.
He certainly can be. For Boston, though, again with Kyrie Irving, again you look at with Gordon Hayward. It's Al Horford, Tatum, not a scary lineup.
It's a good lineup, though.
It's a solid lineup, clearly, but again, going up against the Milwaukee Bucks, where on paper the Bucks are probably the favorite team, the better team. This is a Milwaukee team that should make it to the NBA Finals and represent the East, but we've seen wackier things happen, especially coming out of that Eastern Conference. But to handicap how that's going to go, that is a complete toss-up. That could be a series where it wouldn't surprise me if Boston were to sweep the Bucks. We talk about inexperience or a team that has not been a part of the playoffs. That is the Milwaukee Bucks. They're not used to where they are right now and what they did this past season. Where Boston could take advantage, kind of like what San Antonio is doing to Denver right now and surprise them, going, no, hey, we've been here, done it. We know how to go.
I see this series going about 6 games. I really do, and I see Boston win. I see Boston winning in the Garden.
Yeah,
because again, they just got that. There's that mystique about the Boston Celtics for some crazy reason.
Like I said, with the Bucks again, Bledsoe, Brook Lopez, again the Geek Freak, a lot of new faces, or at least players that are not used to being in playoffs in situations and kind of moving on within the playoffs. So. Curious to see how that second round matchup goes, but again, we still have a lot more at least remaining in the East, especially the other 2 matchups, as we need to get to a break as well. 3-6 right now, Philadelphia over at least the Brooklyn Nets. Nets gave them the scare, but Philadelphia is proven to be the better team. No surprise there, being up 3-1.
Philly.
Yeah, they'll take care of business. And Toronto at least taking care of business against Orlando, where Orlando, the Magic, had the 1-game scare, and Toronto's figured out things. So
that goes back to
potential, at least on the East right now, you have 4 potential, at least teams, 2 potential matchups that are very exciting to watch. Milwaukee versus Boston and Philadelphia versus Toronto. I mean, that would be fun basketball to watch out of the Eastern Conference, to see who are the better 2 teams out of the East that will be competing for the Eastern Conference.
And everything will go according to Hoyle with 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3 in the East. We do have a question mark in the West right now. We know 1 will match up with 4, and 3 could either have 7 or 2. Don't know. Again, like I said, talk about a critical game coming up tomorrow night for the Denver Nuggets. We do need to take a timeout. We're going to be back with more.
I was going to say, since we're on the basketball kick, we could probably hear from the Nuggets head guy, too.
Do we want to hear from head coach Mike Malone?
We might want to.
Well, then we might want to play it right after we come back.
There you go.
After this timeout here on 1480 KRAE. Join in for a festive evening of fun, food, and a live auction in Cheyenne on Monday, May 6th at the historic Little Bear Inn, which is sponsoring the Love Never Forgets Gala to benefit the Wyoming chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. The event is being held to support the services provided on behalf of the nearly 30,000 Wyomingites affected by this relentless form of dementia. For more information, call the Alzheimer's chapter at 316-2892. That's 316-2892. Or visit First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue for your tickets. Remember, at First Tier Bank, you'll find the best rate on a 27-month CD with a 3.10% annual percentage yield. Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. How about these super radio buys heard only right here? Kahlua Coffee Liqueur, 1.75-liter bottle, $25.99. Bud Light Lime or Orange, 12-pack, 12-ounce cans, $14.99. And Smirnoff Vodka, 1.75-liter bottle, $18.99. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
There's a place where possibilities are boundless, where curiosity runs rampant, where exploration becomes opportunity. With Laramie County Community College, you can discover the best version of yourself. It's time to take on new challenges, to enrich your life, and to create the future you deserve. Your story unfolds. Laramie County Community College. Apply today. Visit lccc.wy.edu/yourstory.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY-FM and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Larry Proetti at 307-637-0301.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast, only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day, at Windmill and Del Range. Right now it's time to head over to Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service for low prices on outstanding RVs in Wyoming. Your local, exclusive Jayco dealer wants you to check out their closeout deals as well as their 2019 inventory of trailers, fifth wheels, and toy haulers. You can save up to 30% on select models with approved credit. You can find them at 6102 East Highway 30. Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service is a proud sponsor of LCCC men's and women's basketball, also our local high school teams too.
Cheyenne's oldest coin dealer and supplier, The Coin Shop, is proud to serve the community since 1982. Trade or sell your gold, silver, and other precious metals. Visit with David and the knowledgeable staff for a fair and honest assessment of your valuables. Located at 510 West Lincoln Way. Call them today at 778-7196 to schedule your personal consultation.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
Weather-wise for today, cloudy with a chance of rain and snow showers mixed. Expected daytime high of 40 degrees. Mostly cloudy for tonight with our low down to 32. Tuesday's forecast, partly sunny. We're calling for a daytime high of 57. Partly cloudy Tuesday night with our low down to 37. And for Wednesday, sunshine. We're calling for a daytime high of 66 degrees.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ballgame. Let's play ball! You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
It's time to play the game. Put your money on the table. Come on. It's the one game we never, ever win.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk today. We hopefully will catch up with Coach Mike Malone and his comments as they gear up for Game 5 right now. We got him on a milk carton, so we'll catch up with him here in a little bit. We will talk some baseball while we got the opportunity right now, and
or we can talk hockey instead, as we got as well. Finally the Malone thing came over. So
why don't we take a quick 30-second timeout? Can you punch up a 30-second timeout there?
We might as well. Again, we got plenty of show. He can come on whenever if you want.
Well, no, I mean, since we got done with basketball, let's get back to him and get his comments as they gear up for Game 5. So let's take a quick 30-second break. And when we come back, we will have the head coach of the Denver Nuggets talking about Game 4 and looking ahead towards Game 5 after these words here on 1480 KRAE.
Are you looking for a pharmacist who will actually take the time to talk to you? Then come to Medicap Pharmacy. We're dedicated to healthcare only, which means we'll fill your prescription quickly, and then we'll make time to listen, answer your questions, explain your prescriptions, and tell you about possible drug interactions.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Coach, can you describe that second and third quarter from what you've seen from your guys, and at what point did you know that game was yours, to take?
I don't know if I ever knew it was, ours to take. The Spurs are always going to make a run. Patty Mills got going, but I just loved how we responded to that first quarter. They came out and jumped us. They shot 79% in that first quarter. We only had one assist in the first quarter, but we settled down. The guys off the bench came in and did a great job. And when we put our starters back in the game, they were fantastic. So to win quarters 2, 3, and 4 on the road, I know all the people back home know this. The Denver Nuggets had not won here since 2012. It's a long time. And for it to come tonight in Game 4, which allows us to take back home court advantage, even makes it that much more special. So very proud of our guys. Jamal Murray responded from Game 3 to Game 4. Torrey Craig, I make a change in the lineup, and he goes out there and plays phenomenal on both ends of the floor. So hell of a win for us. We still have a lot of work to do. We'll watch the film, we'll learn from it, and try to be even better next game at home.
Coach, you challenged your players to be a lot more physical in this game. How do you think they responded to that, and what really propelled them to be that good in quarters 2, 3, and 4? Yeah, I think the ball movement was terrific after quarter 1. Once again, only one assist. I think in that second quarter we had 10 or 11. The defense picked up. Things that hurt us in Game 3, like I learned this a long time ago from Jeff Van Gundy when I got in the NBA. You got to understand why you win and why you lose. And we explained to our guys after the game. We watched the film yesterday. We lost because of points off turnovers, second chance points. They still got in the paint too much, but a much better job, only 11 points off turnovers. Much better job, second chance points. So I think our guys understood how we needed to play, and they answered the call, TJ. They went out there and were much more physical, and we were able to pull out the win.
Along those lines, you challenged Jamal to have a great game throughout, not just one great quarter. The rebounding, the physicality. You're down 2-1. You hadn't won here in 7 years, like you said. This was a balls on the table game. How do you think your guys reacted, and what did you see from them tonight that you hadn't seen previously?
Yeah, I saw a lot of balls on the table. To rephrase your question, I saw confidence. That's what I saw. I saw a young team that was not thinking about 2012, because if you think about the last 7 years, that's going to overwhelm you. We're living in the present. We're living today. Game number 4. And that's all we worried about. And, we've been close. We know we didn't show up the way we needed to show up in Game 3. And our guys answered. It wasn't just vets. It was a lot of young guys. Torrey Craig gets his first playoff start. He was in the G League last year, and he has that kind of a game. Monte Morris was in the G League last year, playing great off the bench. Jamal Murray from Game 3 to 4 looked like a different player. He goes out, gets 24 points, 6 assists, only 1 turnover. And you feel bad because you don't talk about Nikola sometimes because you expect greatness from him every night. He was fantastic. So, and I think Will Barton, those are tough discussions. You're taking a guy out of the starting lineup. This wasn't about Will. It was about, I felt it was the best interest of our team. but Will gets 12 points off the bench and hits 3 threes. So everybody stepped up. But I saw a confidence, a belief in one another that is necessary to come in here and win a game like we did.
Why was it Torrey that you ultimately, right here?
I'm sorry.
Why was it Torrey that you ultimately landed on to move into the starting lineup and not a guy like Malik?
Yeah, obviously it was a tough decision. I could have gone with either one of those guys. I wanted to put Torrey Craig on DeMar DeRozan. I think Gary's done a phenomenal job. I think Torrey's the best matchup on him. After 36 from Derek White, I wanted Gary to guard him. So our two best perimeter defenders on their two best perimeter players. And the other thing was for Malik. Malik could easily have been that guy, Harrison, but I think it was really important to keep Malik in his comfort zone. He had been coming off the bench, playing a high level against their bench unit. He, Monte, and Mason have great chemistry and synergy on the court. I didn't want to mess that up. I'd be lying if I said I knew Torrey Craig was going to go out and get 18 and hit 5 threes. But his defense, his rebounding, his shot making, and Malik was still fantastic off the bench. So it was just kind of I didn't want to mess up the rhythm of that second unit.
In particular, you said you wanted to see more fire from Jamal. What did you see on that dunk, and did you like to see him respond like that?
Yeah, I think overall his whole game, Mike, was a really positive sign in how he responded. And we've talked a lot the last couple of days, and I told our players that were going on the court, said enough talk. We can talk till we're blue in the face about, hey, we're going to hit him first, all that. Go out there and do it. I mean, that's what you have to do. And we were able to do that. And Jamal, obviously, with that dunk, fired him up. But I thought he was a lot more engaged. I thought he played a lot harder, played with a lot more urgency. And I'm not surprised because we all know what Derek White did last game. So I think we all took it personally.
Looked like Nikola really came out looking to shoot. What did you just think about your best player, looking to get his in a game you really need to have?
Yeah. I mean, 29 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, no turnovers. The guy's an incredible player. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes you forget to mention him because you expect it every night. But Nikola being aggressive offensively, knowing they're double teaming, picking his spots, putting him in more pick and roll, pick and pop, hit him on the short roll, let him make plays. So, that's what excites me, seeing all these guys step up in big moments. And this is the first time they're all going through it. And I think they've responded really, really well. And the work's not done. The series is tied. There's a lot of game to be left to be played. But Nikola was fantastic tonight. And you're right, he's our best player. And he responded in a big way when we needed him to.
Coach, I know that over the summer when the team signed Will Barton to that deal, starting was important to him. Is there anything you can share about the conversation you had with him and just how he took it and was able to be confident off of the bench tonight?
One thing that I love about Will Barton, starter, bench, you're not going to ever shake his confidence. I have a deep respect for Will because of that. The conversation that I had with Will, without getting into all the details, he's got pride. He wants to start. As I told him, we're not down 1-2 because of Will Barton. We didn't give up 62 in the paint last game because of Will Barton. We haven't been out rebounded 3 games in a row because of Will Barton. I said, but I just think bringing you off the bench, putting the ball in your hands a little bit more, because in that starting group, it's hard to get the ball in everybody's hand. And I asked him just, to continue to be the leader that he is, and I thought he was phenomenal. Like he handled it like a man. Of course, he wants to start, but he went out there, was mature about it, and played to the best of his ability off the bench and helped us get this win. 12 points off the bench, 3 threes is a big part of us getting this win tonight.
We all know, we all know Craig's story, and he's great defensively. He's very athletic. What development have you seen during maybe even the course of this season with that 3-point shot that allowed him to hit 5 in this big game?
I remember having a conversation with him last year, and I think you guys all know, the Denver media know how high I was on Torrey last year as a two-way player. He was a guy that I don't look, for me, I don't never look at when you were drafted, what round, what school. I don't care. If you can play, I'm going to play you. If you can help us win, I'm going to play you. And I have that kind of confidence in Torrey. But I remember saying to him last year, Bruce Bowen, right, a guy that played here, could guard in multiple positions and became a prolific corner 3-point shooter. You've got to add that to your game if you want to be in the league for a long time. And then now it's a question of, all right, you're going to take that message to heart. Our player development coaches do a great job. Torrey deserves the credit, kids, because he's put the time in. So now, obviously, he's not just a one-trick pony. Hey, I can guard, but we're playing 4-on-5 on offense. And that's not the case. He moves well without the ball. He finishes. He rebounds. He defends. And obviously, he can make the three-point shot. So his confidence in shooting that ball is very high. And obviously, allowing him to shoot it, and he's never looking over his shoulder. Hey, his coach is going to take me out if I take an open three. If we take open shots, that's all I care about. So Torrey deserves so much credit for staying with it and improving his overall basketball game.
At what point did you stop talking and just said, just go play? And secondly, did they feel y'all the way that you wanted them to feel y'all tonight?
It was definitely an improvement, from Game 3, where I don't think they felt us at all. So even in that first quarter, they jumped us and they got off to such a good start. But I like their energy more tonight. I like the urgency. I like the fight. I could tell that guys were engaged a lot more than we were in Game 3. And then for me, we go through our pregame routine. We show the film and the coverages. And I say, you know what, fellas, how much more do we need to talk about? I mean, it's go out there and do your job and leave it on the floor. And they did that. Obviously, we had to kind of wake up a little after that first quarter and get back to playing our brand of basketball. And I think we did that at a high level for the last 3 quarters.
Install security camera system? Then go with the name you trust, High West Digital Solutions, a High West energy company. The experienced team at High West Digital Solutions will customize a video security system for you, helping you keep an eye on everything going on inside or outside your home or business. Go to hwds.com or call 307-245-4333. High West Digital Solutions, the best choice, the local choice, the right choice for you.
At Platte Valley Bank, we understand that you have a busy life, and that means you don't always have time to come to the bank. That's why we offer user-friendly online and mobile banking with features such as bill pay, recurring transfers, and mobile deposit, so you can bank how you want when you want to. Whether you prefer to bank in person, over the phone, or online, Platte Valley Bank makes it easy to take care of your finances.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
You can count on Platte Valley Bank. Community banking for you.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Okay, good day in the weight room, boys. Remember, we lift weights for strength. For cardio, we lift weights faster. Wachowski, quit looking at your stomach, son. What you're looking for ain't there. If you want a six-pack, the easiest way to get one is at Taco John's.
Stop in for a 6-pack and a pound at Taco John's. Get 6 crispy beef tacos and a pound of potato olays, all for $10.99.
Let's Olay the day and go get one right now. Last one there has to pick up Mrs. Coach from jiu-jitsu class.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
Weather-wise for today, cloudy with a chance of rain and snow showers mixed. Expected daytime high of 40 degrees. Mostly cloudy for tonight with our low down to 32. Tuesday's forecast, partly sunny. We're calling for a daytime high of 57. Partly cloudy Tuesday night with our low down to 37. And for Wednesday, sunshine. We're calling for a daytime high of 66 degrees.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ball game.
Let's play ball!
You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk today. The head coach of the Denver Nuggets most recently, Mike Malone, giving us his thoughts and, again, a look ahead toward tomorrow night's game. Well, we got a few minutes here. We're going to chat Rockies baseball, and then we get to the top of the hour. We'll talk hockey because big things doing down in Denver as well with the Colorado Avalanche. But Rockies' big series with the Philadelphia Phillies this weekend, taking 3 out of 4 at Coors Field.
Mm-hmm.
Saw a couple of things that, still disturbs me. Rockies, and I don't know if this is the Dave Madigan way of being the hitting coach. Boy, they strike out a lot now. It's bad enough that they struck out,
And do want to say with the Rockies, though, rebounding after, again, the tough series out in San Francisco, and, again, at least at home against the Philadelphia Phillies, where, did get back in the rebounding. They're still a half game ahead of the San Francisco Giants for dead last right now in the West. They're still digging themselves out of that hole.
And I understand, and I can see why they are digging themselves out of a hole. if you look at a statistic, it's called lob, left on base.
Mm-hmm.
The Rockies leave a lot of guys on base, and again, they're not aggressive. It's a very passive team at the plate.
And again, Colorado is right now, especially in the NL West, they are the worst right now in run differential at -18. The second worst team is the San Diego Padres at -17. That's just in the division right now. So, again, Rockies right now is a team that is slowly getting back into the offensive powerhouse that I thought it could be.
Chuck Nasty really woke up in this series and hit that big home run.
Did not anticipate
Friday
against
night.
the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies, who are right now leading the NL East, even though early on here, did not anticipate at home that they would come back against the Philadelphia Phillies. But go figure. But Rockies, they're slowly figuring things out. They should be very thankful that pieces around them are starting to fall. San Diego's kind of falling off on hard times a bit. Arizona is sitting at 500. Dodgers are starting to trend upward.
But here's the deal. In the game on Friday night, which Chuck Nasty hit the big home run to win the game, they struck out 16 times in that game.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, they're whiffing a lot because they are. And as I was having coffee with my gang this morning, what bothers me, and you sit there and you watch it. The first pitch is right down Main Street, and they're looking at it. No one's up there going, for the fences right away. Everybody's taking that first pitch. Now,
well,
again,
that tells me it's a hitting coach problem.
That's a Dave Madigan philosophy, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, but again, they're not aggressive, and it's like okay, not.
Or is that as a team where again you had this slow start to the season that they're all hesitant as a team?
You got Chuck Nasty
that everyone is inside their mind.
You got Charlie Blackmon hitting a triple yesterday.
Is this a Bud Black thing of saying, "Hey guys, take that first strike"? I don't know.
I mean, again. You got Nasty at third base, and you got David Dahl who's hitting like 360, and he comes up to the plate and he takes the first pitch. I'd be jumping on that thing trying to get Nasty home. What does he do? He gets called out on strikes. Nolan Arenado comes up after that and hits a little wimpy ground ball to the pitcher. Nasty stays at third base. I mean, it's like this left on base situation by the Rockies is really, really getting old. I'm glad that they're winning. I'm glad they're out of the cellar. I don't want the Giants.
They're not. I was gonna say they're not far out of the cellar again. They're only half a game above the Giants.
I'll tell you one thing: the Giants got some problems there with old Mad Bum. Mad Bum got beat around by Pittsburgh on Friday.
Well, there's been talks about him moving on, and again, that's going to be understandable. I think Giants will eventually move pieces throughout the season because again, the Giants. It's going to be another long one for the San Francisco Giants.
But going back to the hitting coach of the Rockies, I think he's done more damage to the Rocks' bats than he's done helping them. But one thing I do want to mention, and I'm very vocal about this, and what this umpire did Friday night. And again, I'm glad the Rockies won, but I also like a good pitchers matchup. Velasquez from the Phillies, he was looking pretty good. Marquez looked good. Joe West has got to be.
And Joe West, who's been at many controversy, or at least players have been vocal. I think media outlets have been vocal about him.
He is the worst home plate umpire. And again, he's been doing this for 40 years now. And again, I don't want anybody to.
And again,
retire.
he's been in playoffs. He's been in World Series appearances. So
again, 40 years, you should be doing something. But my point is, you got to know when to hang him up. He can't bend over anymore. He's way out of shape. Second of all, his strike zone sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if you go by, and I think
now you're making an argument for do we need human umpires?
He made the argument pretty sound that robotic umpires are going to take over because you don't know when to hang them up. And West
I'm just saying that it goes back even to going outside of the Rockies and Joe West, but you look at again, without me following too much of baseball right now with the playoffs, but again, going back to where Brandon Belt dealing in the Pittsburgh Giants series where there were a few questionable strikes called against him where eventually he kind of slammed his helmet down and then exited out of that contest after getting tossed out. But again, strikes that were called that were well outside of his reach, and they were called back-to-back where, right now this kind of skirts that fine line. And again, going back to that Seton Hall kind of interview, or at least that poll of where MLB is trending, again, with the rules, with the technology, how do you absorb MLB, blah, blah, blah. That would be an interesting one to at least figure out. It wasn't included in that poll, but it'd be interesting to see what the pulse of the nation is right now of, should we just eliminate human umpires and just go with the strike zone? The K zone that, ESPN has, Fox has, TBS has, every entity has, of going, okay, here's what his strike zone should be. Okay, that's a ball or a strike. Well, and again, it's all based on computer algorithm, mathematics, just all dimensions, all this fun stuff.
And again,
that would give you a much more accurate than what a human is.
And I'm still
doing.
into the human error. I mean, human. To err is
well,
human.
I'm just saying, going back to the Brandon Belt thing, that was beyond human error.
I understand
that was just.
But see, here's where Major League
insane.
Baseball really screws up. Supposedly, these guys go in there and grade themselves. But Joe West is the head crew man. He's been doing this for 40 years.
So he kind of gets a pass.
Yeah. So, and if I was grading him on his performance Friday night, it's an F. He sucked. It was terrible. I've never seen a zone so poorly called by a guy who can barely bend over. That's what made me angry. Again, I am one who I hope, Nick, in my life, I can work until I say I don't want to work anymore. I'm not saying to him, retire, but Major League Baseball needs to have a sit-down with Joe West and say, hey, look, pal, look at this strike zone. It's hideous. He should be man enough. Joe West should be man enough right now at age 60, I think he's 66. He should be man enough to step away from the game. The game has passed him by.
All right.
But he'll be out there.
Hasn't the game passed by other officials in NBA or even in college? And we could even say here in the JUCO routes where they can't keep up with the pace.
And what I even say about that, I was talking to the coaches here on the JUCO situation that the game has gotten faster. It's bigger, it's stronger.
Yeah, and again, those older officials, those umpires, whatever.
You may need another set of eyes.
Possibly. Obviously, you can't do that in baseball, where I don't think it would make sense to have two sets of, at least home plate umpires. But, right now, you're bringing up a situation, or at least you're calling to attention of something what happened. And again, it happens around MLB. Again, players have been vocal about strike zones being inconsistent, or we're having issues with some certain umpires, if not just in general. But right now, is it an outcry or where you haven't really brought up a big solution other than saying, hey, the guy needs to retire, and then we just kind of move on, where we'll pick on the next guy that has a terrible strike zone? Or is it, does the MLB just kind of sit down, Commissioner Manfred just sits and goes, all right, we got too many complaints here. Bye-bye, human officials. You're gone. We're gonna go the visual side. We're gonna go the strike zone visual. Again, here's where it is. The computer algorithm decides if it's a striking ball, and there you go.
Man, here's the problem with Joe West. He is the president of the World Umpires Association.
All right.
So you're gonna sit down with the president of the league, and you're gonna say, "Hey, dude, you suck. Look at all these teams think you stink. The fans think you're lousy. You need to step away." Oh, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to step away. They get paid great money.
I'm just saying, you're arguing and you're complaining about something, but it's like, is something going to be done? Doubtful. But is it something that's going to cause kind of a ripple effect throughout Major League Baseball, where again, it's been building and building and building?
You would think the human aspect here, Joe West would say, you know what? The game is passing me by. I need to step back. I need to step away. I'll be the president of the association, and somebody that is trained is ready to move up. Somebody in AAA ball is ready to come up to the big leagues. He is holding back probably a potentially good set of eyes from watching the game. He can't even move anymore. He can't even jog. That's how bad this guy is. He can't bend over. His strike zone stinks, but yet he is allowed to umpire. Anyway,
whatever.
It's just my rant. Joe West, Major League Baseball, can the guy. Tell him to retire. He needs to retire on his own.
You're talking about a slippery slope that's eventually going to lead to where we have no more human element in MLB, which is the way it's going.
And he's one of the guys you blame for the human element going bye-bye because he doesn't have the cojones to step aside because he sucks.
How about you step aside so we can get to the top of the hour?
All right, we will head to the 4 o'clock hour with more Wyoming Sports Talk today.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local. It's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
It is hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk Today, being brought to you by Marv's Plumbing and Heating at 1515 Logan Avenue, Mondelo's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Saw my good buddy Joe over the weekend, and I'll tell you what, man, made another great sandwich as always on that fresh baked bread. Delicious pizza, strombolis, calzones. It's all for your tum-tum over at Mondelo's Pizzeria. 7 days a week, located at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Paisan cuisine at its best. First Tier Bank directly across the street at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Again, offering some great interest rates right now on their 27-month CD. Check out what they have going on today at First Tier Bank, 1508 Stillwater Avenue, right across the street from Mondelo's Pizzeria, 1508 Stillwater Avenue, yes. Lennox Auto Body ×2, founded by Dick Lennox, tradition carried on by Heather Lennox for a quarter century. They've been taking care of cars and trucks in our area, and with most insurances, they'll do a fantastic job too. If they don't cover all insurances, I'm venturing to say that they're probably modern technologied up over there at Lennox Auto Body. So check them out at the main repair center on Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center over on Pershing Boulevard. Medicap Pharmacy, same location as always, on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse, Platte Valley Bank ×2, the original location on Vanda High, and the east side location right there at the corner of College and Pershing. Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way with a lot full of Kias. Again, make sure you're bringing your trade in because they do want your pre-owned vehicle over at Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range right across from Menards. And again, you like 3 squares, they serve a delicious breakfast to go along with lunch and dinner. And again, they do a fantastic cater out as well. Chick-fil-A, Windmill, and Del Range. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service over on Highway 30, your exclusive home for Jayco RVs, fifth wheels, and travel trailers. And we also want to thank Taco John's of Cheyenne, where they have a menu full of delicious eats and treats. Taco John's of Cheyenne. We get things underway with our scoreboard. It's brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne, and we go to Nick.
Local baseball from this past weekend. We'll start with the Cheyenne Mustangs as their home opener over at Pioneer Park happened on Saturday. First game of the doubleheader against the Casper Crush was a losing effort of 12-7, and the doubleheader, at least game number 2 against the Casper Crush, was a similar result of 14-1 loss for the Cheyenne Mustangs. So the Mustangs on this season are 1-4 overall. Cheyenne Post 6 in action as well as they got underway at their home openers this past weekend. Friday against Laramie Rangers, they won 15-1. Moving to Saturday where they took on Rock Springs, won that contest 22-0. And Sunday's contest against Rock Springs, they won 13-3. So Cheyenne Post 6 having a hot start out of the gates. They are 3-0 to start this early season. NHL action for tonight. Carolina Hurricanes at home. They will play host to the Washington Capitals. You can see that game on NBC Sports Network, where the Caps do have a 3-2 series lead in that one. Dallas Stars at home at American Airlines Center. They will take on the Nashville Preds, where the Stars have a 3-2 series lead in that one. And you can see that game on CNBC. That's what's happening NHL action for tonight.
Major League Baseball, when we call it a day, it will be the Phils at the Mets, Diamondbacks and the Pirates at PNC. White Sox and the Orioles at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Royals and the Rays, they will take place at the Trop. It will be the Brewers and the Cardinals at Busch. 6 o'clock hour, Twins and the Astros at Minute Maid. Nats and the Rocks at Coors Field. Tyler Anderson now will toe the rubber for the Rockies as he comes off the IL. And that, again, will be at Coors Field. It's 43 degrees currently as they get ready for this evening's game. 8 o'clock games will have the Yankees at the Angels and the Rangers and the A's in the Oakland Coliseum already wiped out due to the weather. Tigers at the Bo Sox. They'll make that up as part of a twin bill tomorrow at Fenway. On the NBA slate, a couple of games, and they could be adios games. Bucks and the Pistons at Little Caesars Arena. Milwaukee holding on to a 3-games-to-none lead in that best of 7. And at the Vivint Smart Home Arena in Salt Lake City, Rockets and the Jazz with Houston leading 3-games-to-none. Scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice cold bottle of Mountain Dew in me, but at the moment, I'm empty. That's right, no Mountain Dew. Nothing in here but a couple of quarters and a dime. A fully capable cup holder like me just carrying your loose change, it's embarrassing. Look, I'm not made for loose change. I'm round like a bottle of Mountain Dew. Glistening, cold, and delicious. I'm made to keep Mountain Dew within reach at all times, so you're never far from that incredible bold citrus kick whenever you need it. Just inches from your hand. So find a store already, grab some Dew, toss it back, then place that bottle where it belongs, and put that loose change back in your pocket. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
Got something to say? Then get it off your chest right now. Phone lines are open at 307-514-1071. Make your opinion count and call the show. Wyoming Sports Talk today.
Just a couple quick baseball notes here. Jacob deGrom threw a bullpen session today at Citi Field without any issues. He'll throw another one on Wednesday, and if all goes well, he'll come off the injured list. There's no more DL, the injured list, and he might start Friday against the Brewers. And then the Yankees have formally released Gio Gonzalez. Now, there's a pitcher that had a lot of potential, especially with the A's, and then with the Nats. But anyway,
yeah, he did good with those two teams, and then eventually moving on. He's, the Nationals saw that he was trending downward. Again, you saw that in the past couple seasons. He was not where he was, at the beginning of his time, and hey, it happens. It's kind of the Tim Lincecum situation of, okay, well, you were good for your beginning of the career, and then obviously it kind of gassed out. So well.
He was released from his minor league contract, and they did not add him to the active roster today. So with him having already opted out over the weekend, this formally means that he's back in free agency. And like you said with Tim Lincecum, somebody will pick him up, but he's not going to hang around much longer. All right, let's go to the ice.
Yeah, I was going to say, how about go to where things are still at least relevant right now? Again, as we have NBA playoffs, but NHL playoffs is series, at least for second round, are starting to get at least unfolded, and we're starting to understand. We can even get into, as you were looking through the Calder Cup, especially with at least Colorado Eagles, as they split the at least pair down in Budweiser over the past weekend. But
with Bakersfield.
Yeah, glad you remembered.
No, I have my NHL stuff here. I want to make sure that the Eagles get their due as well from the weekend.
Well, either way, though, NHL from what happened this past weekend, where again we found out starting on the western side of the bracket, St. Louis takes care of business against Winnipeg, winning at least in that series 4-2.
I'm toasting that one. I had Winnipeg going to the.
Yeah, I thought Winnipeg, they put up a good fight. I figured they were a team that was going to at least make it to the Western Final. Does surprise me a bit, but St. Louis finally getting over the hump, getting back into the swing of things. The Blues, very impressive team. Blues right now, I would say, are the favorite to come out of that bracket to represent on that side for the Western Conference Finals, depending on who wins out of Dallas and in Nashville. Neither of them, I don't think, are better than what St. Louis is doing right now. And again, looking at that series, which will be played tonight, where Dallas at home, Dallas does lead that series 3-2. Again, I told you to watch out for the Stars team that could easily take care of Nashville, and they're doing it, and I think they will tonight. And they will win.
And in that series, you can't blame Pecorine for his job between the pipes. He's doing a great. Their defense is
their defense
just awful.
It's terrible, and that's why I had no faith in Nashville. You saw that throughout this season. You saw them kind of trending a little bit downward, even though they won that Central Division. Nashville is not that top dog Western team as they were a few seasons ago. Right now, Dallas looks like the more improved. At least we talk about teams who are hot right now. Dallas, same vein of the Colorado Avalanche. The Dallas is that same team.
They're playing like they got nothing to lose. I mean, that's how they're playing right now. And Nashville, I mean, they're like in shock. But again, you look at the job that, and again, if you watch the highlights like I did over the weekend, especially on ESPN, Rennie is just getting peppered, but he's making the saves. But, you know, after about 4 or 5, save
So when you're
attempts,
seeing about 50 shots, again, eventually one's going to
and you only got
in.
about 26 going on net on the other side, you're going to lose.
Well, and that proved differently, at least in one series on the western side, but we'll eventually get to that. But, again, or we'll get into it now, I guess, as you giggle about it. But for the Vegas Golden Knights last night at home against the San Jose Sharks.
This is a great series. I don't care what you say. I think this is a great series.
Oh, yeah, we anticipated. I certainly did, again, going to 7
games. I said 7 games on this
Good
series.
for you. And again, it will go to a 7th game coming up in San Jose where the Vegas Golden Knights still have a shot. I still believe that this team can get it done. Again, it went into overtime. At least took care of business in second overtime for the San Jose Sharks, where it got it to a Game 7. But right now, it is that throw up game where anything and everything can happen. You don't know what team is going to show up at this point. Vegas, who I thought would wrap it up there at Game 6, had all the momentum heading in. Just couldn't find any offense. A team that has found offense aplenty in this at least playoff. Just struggled last night, and it goes credit to the defense there for the San Jose Sharks. Sharks who also too just played lights out. Coming up for Game 7, my heart goes obviously with the Vegas Golden Knights,
right.
But it would not surprise me and shock me if San Jose at home in front of that crowd at the SAP Center, if they get it done again, have all this momentum now again. As we talk about that keyword of momentum, well, they got plenty of it. You got it to a Game 7. It's going back to your place. Here's your shot, San Jose.
And you have to admit, with both San Jose and Vegas, who puts on the best pre-show production?
It's Vegas, obviously.
And San Jose does too in the tank. I mean, they put on a great pre-show as well,
I guess.
as the teams are coming onto the ice. I think it's just fantastic.
It is definitely good theatrics, and we'll see what happens with Game 7 coming up. But again, they will at least they are going to move on. They will eventually see the Colorado Avalanche as the Avs move on. They upset the Calgary Flames, the best team in the West. The Calgary Flames, the 1 seed. They win that series 4-1.
And we
did not anticipate.
Now. We got 2 of them. We had Columbus do that to Tampa Bay on the east side. Now Colorado, and again.
I would say Columbus was more surprising. Columbus was more impressive just because, again, you had such a discrepancy between the two, where Columbus was that second wildcard team, and you had the President Cup team of Tampa Bay that was so hot, was one of the big-time favorites to come out of the East, if not win the Stanley Cup, and just swept them in 4 games. That was the more impressive series, but right behind them, a close second, is Colorado upending Calgary Flames. To be honest, again, I thought Calgary was going to come out a little bit more fiery, no pun intended. I figured the Flames would get a little bit more help from Johnny Hockey, trying to get everything situated where this felt like it could have been Calgary's year to do something special, but instead it was the old Flames team, just like the old Tampa Bay teams that just fall short in the playoffs, find those early exits, and go figure. But with the Colorado Avalanche, right now, with Columbus on the eastern side, Colorado is got to be the hottest team in the NHL.
And they had to fight tooth and nail to secure that last wild card spot. You look at
and they're doing it with a young team.
I know. You look at Columbus though; they were 47-31-4 in the regular season. So again, they almost had 100 points. So they're a good outfit, like you said they are. And with the Avalanche, they had to fight, claw, hold off Arizona, had to make sure they ousted, Chicago. I mean, this team came in.
They didn't have to wait for Chicago.
Well, you know what I'm saying, though. Those were the teams that were kind of nipping at their heels, and they started to play their best hockey, like we've always said with high school hoops. It's not how you play in December. It's how you're playing late February into March. And the Avalanche are that type of team right now. They're playing in April.
And again, seeing it firsthand where, final regular season games, or at least kind of the last remaining regular season games for the Avs, especially down at the Pepsi Center where they play host of the Vegas Golden Knights, another playoff-bound team, and they put up a fantastic effort and took care of business. So right now, again, the Avs playing the hottest hockey right now, right, I would say just right behind Columbus Blue Jackets. Right now, those two teams are absolutely on fire, and curious to see what happens in the second round. But again, go 4-1 over the Calgary Flames, your Pacific Division, your Western champion, Calgary Flames. That is very surprising to me. Like I said, I figured that Calgary would put up a better fight, that Calgary would have moved on from that series, and if anything, it would have gone to a Game 7 of how it should have gone. But, credit to and kudos to the Colorado Avalanche, it's just what they did. So right now the Avs have moved on, and they're waiting the winner of the Game 7 matchup between the Vegas Golden Knights and San Jose Sharks.
And the thing I think is going to hurt the Avs, I think the rest is going to hurt them. I think that you want
to fire right now, and you got to wait until this game gets set, and then wait a few more days.
And then you got to go on the road. Yeah. You either go to Las Vegas or you either go to San Jose. So for the Avs, I mean they want to keep this momentum going right now. Unfortunately, they're going to have to sit back a couple 3 days. So as they say, a couple guys are going to get to heal up. But the way they are playing right now, you just put them on the ice, they're ready to win.
The rest hurts teams more than it does them good. And we've seen that whether it's NBA or NHL. It hurts more than it does good. And, that's why Columbus sitting out at least for a while now. Colorado sitting out for at least for a few days. Islanders with their sweep. Curious to see what happens with them where, again, you're getting lengthy rest right now. And it really doesn't do those teams good because, again, you have that momentum, you have that emotion with you, and it keeps on continuing on. Well, now all you can do is use that emotion against yourselves when you're doing those scrimmages or those practices. You don't have that real game simulation, or at least in front of those fans, to get that energy kind of still flowing through you. It becomes, more than a lack of a better word, kind of boring almost, where, okay, you're trying to find that emotion. You're trying to grab from that where you're so used to it. That lull doesn't really help you out. But
so let me ask you this question here with the Avalanche. And again, we handicapped this one. I had them moving on to the next round, and then I have them taking on San Jose. You would have them taking on Vegas if you had that.
I think I had Calgary versus
Vegas.
But
my question is to you, Vegas, San Jose, whoever gets in there. I think the season ends for the Avalanche here in this series.
I would have to pause on that. That would be something where you would have to think about.
I don't want it to, but I'm realistic though. I mean, especially going to
like
Vegas.
I said, you did that against but Calgary. It's that infamous question that we like to ask of, was Colorado really that good, or was Calgary really that bad heading into this series?
Calgary was good on game one, but the next four, they suck.
I think Calgary proved that they are just that same Flames team that just finds a way to shoot themselves in the foot and does nothing when it comes to the playoffs. They are kind of that Washington Nationals team that, hey, you get in, but you can't do anything.
Of the past, Washington teams of the past. Last year they did something.
The Nationals did?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
There you
Capitals.
go. Yeah. Either way, though. But for Calgary, though, again, whether it is San Jose, whether it is Vegas, two teams that have been playing very well against each other that are going to be a formal outfit for the Avs to take on, it's something where I don't say it's a guarantee that the Avs are done after round two when they face these two out of the Pacific. I don't say that. This might be that lengthy series that we're waiting for the Colorado Avalanche where they will be tested, and I think they absolutely will. I don't think you're going 4-1 over Vegas. I don't think you're doing 4-1 over San Jose. It's just not going to happen. These two teams are battling each other who are, on paper, again, a little bit more experienced, a little bit more talented than what Colorado's putting on the ice right now. And to say that Colorado should sweep or get 4-1 over these two, it's just not going to happen. If at all even move past these two teams, this is going to be that real true test, that real litmus test for the Colorado Avalanche of saying, okay, you got farther than you did last year. Congrats. Now the real challenge happens.
Like I said, I just think.
Now here's two teams that, where Calgary has not been past that first round. They've struggled. Well, now you're going to take on two teams that have been to the Stanley Cup final, that know how to get past the second.
Right.
know how to get past the Western Conference final. They've been there.
The break's not going to help the Avs. That's all I got to say. No. All right, over on the east side, real quick, and we're going to come back here after we take our break. We're going to come back and hear some comments from head coach Jared Bednar for the Avalanche, but I want to go over to the east side real quick. So we know Columbus is awaiting the winner of the Boston Maple Leaf series.
And again, that goes to Game 7.
Couldn't get it done last night at the Scotiabank Arena, so they head back to the TD Garden. They basically just said, "Here, Boston, roll the red carpet out."
But that favors Toronto because, again, neither team wants to win at home at this point.
They've each split. Matter of fact, the first 2 games of Boston was a split. Next 2 games in Toronto were a split. Boston loses at home.
Yeah.
And then
Toronto loses at home.
Then Boston wins in Toronto.
Yeah, like I said, neither team really has any home ice advantage. Boston certainly doesn't coming up. Right now, like I said, this is the ultimate toss-up, at least contest of the playoffs, where who knows who's going to advance on. Who knows if either of these two teams are going to make it at least past Columbus at this point.
But see the layoff for Columbus now. Look how long they have laid off.
It's certainly going to hurt them. But Columbus, I mean, they got a lot to prove. This is that kind of darling team. This is your Cinderella story in the NHL. Right now, Boston and Toronto. Yeah, I want to say the Maple Leafs do get the win on the road because that's just how wacky this series has been, that it wouldn't surprise me. In Game 7 that Toronto moves on. But again, to size up against Columbus, I think it's going to be the same situation of what we're talking with the Avs taking on San Jose or Vegas. Same with Columbus of you got 2 very talented teams. You do have that long layoff. Is that going to hurt Columbus and their momentum? And I think it could. I think it would. But also, too, I think where you're not sweeping either of these 2 teams. I don't think that's
well.
And
I look back. I look back at the series this year, and I can tell you right now, Columbus will definitely be cheering on Toronto. They don't want Boston.
Yeah, I guess so. Again, the playoffs don't.
I know there's
you eliminate the regular season, where obviously it was a complete joke for Tampa Bay. So, but that should be another series, whether it is Boston, whether it is Toronto, where Columbus. That could go the distance going to 7 games, but we'll see what happens there again. We don't even know who's going to move on. Can't even handicap that. I just say Toronto, just going off of how wacky the series has been, Toronto wins at Boston at this point.
Wouldn't surprise anybody.
Moving at least to the other side of the bracket. We know the Islanders move on. No surprise there. Islanders, very good team, sweeping the Penguins.
And a home series right now with the Caps and Hurricanes. Isn't this weird?
Yeah.
This has been the only one that's been an actual home series.
That's where I think tonight coming up, at least Carolina, makes it interesting. Should win tonight. There shouldn't be any reason why they don't. That fan base is powering this team to get those victories. Carolina should push this to a Game 7 to go back to the Capital One Arena, where I think eventually Washington does win that one. But, again, the longer delay, though, it hurts the Islanders just as well, where they're sitting idle right now waiting the winner of this. And, again, I don't think Carolina has any shot to move on, even with them potentially winning tonight and forcing that Game 7. It's really tough to win at the Capital One Arena. You're not going to Carolina. There's just no way. I think Washington is going to be that team that moves on, and that's going to be a fun one to watch between Washington versus the New York Islanders.
And I think Washington will wrap it up tonight. Looking at what they did over the weekend, I mean, they came out and just punished. This is the team we've been waiting for Washington. This is the defending Stanley Cup champions. They came out and punished Carolina. I mean, they did not beat them up. They punished them.
But that was at home, though. They've,
I understand,
for whatever reason, struggled at Carolina, and I give credit to what Carolina has done.
I can't figure out why they're struggling at Carolina. I mean,
no, I think it's that fan base that is just powering this team and giving them that extra boost right now for the Hurricanes, and give them all credit of how long of a struggle it's been for Carolina to make it back into the playoffs. Well, here they are, and they're trying to make the most of it, and I give kudos to at least to the Hurricanes. But I think, again, they should win tonight. It wouldn't surprise me, but Game 7 on the road in D.C., you're not. No.
And what gets me with Ovechkin, and I'm sitting here and I'm just struggling with this. In 6 periods, they only put up 1 goal at Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
It mind boggles.
Like I said, that has a special place right now for the Hurricanes, and they wish they could play Game 6 and 7 there, but it's just not going to happen. Right. But again, Washington versus the New York Islanders, at least of where I think it's going to happen, which it could. That one, that should also too be an interesting one where it could go to distance, and I think could be a legitimate possibility even with the layoff that the Islanders, who are kind of that young team, that has done something special this season, could upend the Capitals. Absolutely could. Right now, you have a legitimate possibility where the Avs could be in the Western Conference Finals, that the Columbus Blue Jackets could be in your Eastern Conference Finals, that the New York Islanders could be in your Eastern Conference Finals. Teams that haven't been there in quite some time, if at all, for Columbus.
Well, I got to go with the analogy. Nothing surprises me anymore in the National Hockey League.
No,
especially during this round of the
NHL
playoffs.
is one of the better, at least kind of playoffs to watch where, yes, you don't know what's going to happen. It certainly does not go to Hoyle like we see with the NBA or what we see, with NCAA basketball or anything. Again, that is kind of that predictable to an extent. The NHL is obviously a whirlwind of everyone has an opportunity. Everyone can beat anyone on any given time, and we certainly saw that this season, or at least in this playoff so far in round one, where Columbus has proved that, Colorado's proved that, Islanders have kind of proven that, Dallas could even prove that here coming up tonight.
We need to take a timeout. When we come back, we will hear from the Avalanche head coach, Jared Bednauer. And matter of fact, with the Avalanche getting a chance to take a break, so we'll hear his post-game comments after the victory over the Calgary Flames, vaulting the Avalanche into the next round, the second round of the NHL playoffs. We'll be back with his words after these words on 1480 KRAE. Join in for a festive evening of fun, food, and live auction in Cheyenne on Monday, May 6th at the historic Little Bear Inn, which is sponsoring the Love Never Forgets Gala to benefit the Wyoming chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. The event is being held to support the services provided on behalf of the nearly 30,000 Wyomingites affected by this relentless form of dementia. For more information, call the Alzheimer's chapter at 316-2892. That's 316-2892. Or visit First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue for your tickets. Remember, at First Tier Bank, you'll find the best rate on a 27-month CD with a 3.10% annual percentage yield.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call the Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
Capital Lumber is number one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is number one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Capital Lumber Company, serving our area for over 53 years at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne. Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast. Only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day, at Windmill and Del Range. Right now it's time to head over to Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service for low prices on outstanding RVs in Wyoming. Your local, exclusive Jayco dealer wants you to check out their closeout deals as well as their 2019 inventory of trailers, fifth wheels, and toy haulers. You can save up to 30% on select models with approved credit. You can find them at 6102 East Highway 30. Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service is a proud sponsor of LCCC men's and women's basketball, also our local high school teams too.
We're entering our 14th year and still going strong. I'm AJ Miller here at Kia of Cheyenne, and we always strive to make it easy for you to own a quality Kia vehicle for less. Right now, we can help get you into a new 2019 Kia Stinger and really make your day. Kia Stinger comes with an 8-speed automatic transmission, paddle shifters, push-button start, 18-inch wheels, leather seat trim, and heated seats, all standard. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to kiaofcheyenne.com. We'll make it easy.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
Weather-wise for today, cloudy with a chance of rain and snow showers mixed. Expected daytime high of 40 degrees. Mostly cloudy for tonight with our low down to 32. Tuesday's forecast, partly sunny. We're calling for a daytime high of 57. Partly cloudy Tuesday night with our low down to 37. And for Wednesday, sunshine. We're calling for a daytime high of 66 degrees.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Feels good. Feels real good. I mean, I love seeing our guys get rewarded for all their hard work, and you know, the bulk of this group has been together now for 2 years, and our core longer than that. And you know, we started the rebuild last year, and we get in the playoffs, and that felt great. And to take another step this year and win round one and be moving on, I love that our guys are getting rewarded for all their hard work and their dedication and their commitment. And that's what you want to see as a coach. And it feels really good to be able to move on and take on somebody else and keep this thing going.
Your star players, McKinnon, Brandon especially, Barry, Grubauer, I mean, they came to play every game in this series.
Yep, and you know, we've talked a lot about it, obviously, Mike, throughout the course of the season, and you need your best players to be your best players. And I told you that I was going to lean on those guys heavily and I've been doing that all year. And you know, they were exceptional. They were the difference makers. I think our buy-in from our team, you know, every guy was bought in and committed to playing the way that we felt like we needed to play to win. And we're getting contributions from other guys, but those guys are driving the bus, and they have been for quite some time. And for them to step up and elevate their game in the playoffs under tough circumstances just shows you what type of leaders they are and what type of players they are.
What you were saying earlier about when the rebuild started, I mean, granted, you're not where you guys want to be overall, but do you think you can shed that label of this is a rebuilding team and a rebuild project, that you're heading towards where you want to be, or is that a little bit too early?
Well, yeah, that's the idea. You want to keep moving the team forward, and you know, winning a playoff round is the first step in the right direction. Now we you know, like, but we told you going into the playoffs that we have a different feel and different mindset this year, that we're here for a purpose, and our guys believe it. And you know, all the way starts in our management to our coaching staff to our players, and there's a lot of support there, and you know, our guys are hungry for more. I can't wait to get going the second round.
This is the first, obviously, franchise win since Joe Sakic played here for 2008.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the exchange that you had with him?
Well, I mean, you know, like, it's just congratulations, and we're still going about our business. You know, it's we're all happy. Don't get me wrong, we're happy, but it's one round, and you have to win 4, and that's our mindset. You know, like, we're not getting satisfied, and that's not our team's mindset this year. We're not. We're going to push and do everything we can to win.
Keeping in line with that, like, Joe was here, of course, Stan, Josh were here. I mean, what's it like to have those people around, and also just, you think about some of the figures that have been here forever. I mean, what do you think that moment is like, even kind of for them to know, like, okay, this is trending upward in a lot of ways?
Well, I'm sure they're happy. Yeah, I think that, you know, when we talk about our team, I'm not just talking about the players in the locker room. When you get into the playoffs and you win a series, I'm happy for all the people that have put in the hard work, and that's front office staff, our ownership group for trusting in us, and Joe and his management staff, and our coaching staff, players, support staff, everyone, and you know, the one group of people that I've left out to this point is our fans. I mean, they've stuck with us. Start of last year, we start the rebuild, and you know, people start showing up to the building. They get excited about the youth in our group and the new players that we have coming in, and it's been building and trending upward for 2 years now. And if you look at the crowds we had, two home playoff games, game 3 and 4, they were exceptional, and the energy in the building helps drive our team. Our guys love playing there, so I'm happy for all of our fans that have stuck with us and the new ones that are jumping on board. Feels
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
1480 KRAE is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. Hi, this is Nick Brody inviting you to hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 KRAE features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 KRAE, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480krae.com.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-through window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-through window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Are you tired of paying ATM fees? Hi, this is Rick Flood, president of Platte Valley Bank in Cheyenne. Use your Platte Valley Bank ATM or Visa debit card at any ATM anywhere. We won't charge you a fee on our end, and we'll reimburse any fee you incur at any other ATM. That's right, no ATM fees at Platte Valley Bank. How about that? Platte Valley Bank, 3310 North College Drive and 421 Van High Avenue, or pvbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Community banking for you.
Why do we work all hours of the night? Head towards challenges instead of turning away. And work together to solve the toughest problems so you can enjoy the little things and all the big moments life has to offer. Tri-State and High West Energy. Brighter, stronger, better together.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Good game, boys. You showed some real fight. Like when Wachowski put that hit on our own mascot. Solid work, son. Okay, Friday was for football, but Tuesday is for tacos. Taco Tuesday at Taco John's. It's a sacred holiday where we eat tacos repeatedly until I get full.
Save big every Taco Tuesday with crispy beef tacos for just 99 cents.
Get some rest, boys, because come Taco Tuesday, we olay the day.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
Weather-wise for today, cloudy with a chance of rain and snow showers mixed. Expected daytime high of 40 degrees. Mostly cloudy for tonight with our low down to 32. Tuesday's forecast, partly sunny. We're calling for a daytime high of 57. Partly cloudy Tuesday night with our low down to 37. And for Wednesday, sunshine. We're calling for a daytime high of 66 degrees.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing!
And it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Well, we move into the home stretch of our program for this Monday afternoon as we've had a chance to talk a little baseball, basketball, and hockey. And, of course, Nick, you know, I kind of turned the microphone over to you because you did a lot of the local scene over the weekend.
Go figure, because you certainly don't.
Saturday I was out of town. I already told you I had a game Saturday.
You got excuses like everyone else, it seems like, at least around this parts. But either way, though, yes, I
have been playing.
I don't
want
to hear it because you're on the same vein as those other ones as well.
I've been playing in this league for 18 years. So
I don't care.
Go there.
Like I said, you are on the same pedestal as the rest who, again, are in the same kind of industry.
All right, so anyway, you went to the game.
Don't want to hear excuses. But, yes, again, was out there for Friday's contest for the Cheyenne Post Sixers as they were taking on at least their first home opening contest there at Powersfield against Laramie Rangers. A 15-1 at least victory for Cheyenne Post 6. What can you say? Again, where Post 6 had a phenomenal, at least I do believe it was second or third inning where it just runs were just coming up plentiful, taking advantage of the Laramie pitching. is it something that you look at for Friday 15-1 in favor of the Post 6 Sixers, Saturday 22-0 against Rock Springs, and then 13-3 against Rock Springs on Sunday. Again, 3 contests at home against 2 at least league, at least they were non-league games, but against other Post teams across the state. My question, though, is, are these good litmus tests for what Post 6 is going to be like this season? You'd like to assume, hey, that'd be fantastic if they could put up victories like this. They'll be on the road coming up at least on Saturday. They'll be in Jackson Hole. Also, too, they'll travel at least actually they'll be in Casper, but they'll see Jackson, and same in Casper, they'll see Rock Springs. Sunday, they will be still in Casper, but they'll see the Oilers, and then also, too, the Sheridan Troopers. So that'll be a kind of a true, interesting 4-game, at least road contest for Cheyenne Post 6.
But these victories are what they needed because, again, you and me.
But is this the true test out of the gates, though, of what Post 6 is going to be like?
No, but they had a chance to.
When we're seeing teams in Colorado, when we're seeing teams in that Nebraska.
I understand, but they had a chance, instead of practicing and scrimmaging against themselves, to take on a team with a different uniform this weekend.
Yeah.
And, again, where the scores were lopsided, they also, in addition with the veterans, the younger talent got a chance to play too.
Yeah.
So Coach Lane had a chance to see what he's got.
Absolutely.
And start divvying up, so to speak, his starting 9 or starting 8, and then again he's got some veteran pitchers.
Like I said, for Post 6, this is the best start you can have. Obviously, again, starting out 3-0, having 3 games at home, at least able to get in those 3 games, even with the weather kind of potentially happening there on Sunday, where they had to move that game to Friday. But again, a good start, a very strong start. Hopefully that continues on, where you're going to see more local, at least statewide teams with Jackson, Rock Springs, again, Casper, the team that is considered to kind of be one of the favorites. Also, too, eventually you will see Gillette, but not this weekend. Also, too, you will see Sheridan. Sheridan should be a good outfit. So, again, more teams that, if you're Post 6, you need to take care of business, kind of establish your dominance here in the state of Wyoming. But is this something where you could hope that it continues on for the remainder of this season? Will they be this dominant throughout the season? I don't anticipate it. It'd be nice in theory, but right now, again, a hot start, and hopefully it continues on this weekend as they head up to Casper to see 4 games.
And again, which team is predicted to win this year?
It's Gillette.
Casper.
I thought it was Gillette. I can't remember.
Casper.
Either way.
But anyway, Casper is supposed to be a good outfit this year. We already know the Rough Riders are going to be pretty good, out of Gillette. You look at Cheyenne. Again, this is the one year, not so much that they don't have the bullseye in their back, so kind of the pressure's off. Yeah. And a situation here where Ty has a chance to.
Well, the pressure, I doubt it was even there last year, because we saw what they did, being the kind of heavily favorites throughout the state of Wyoming. They still got it done. Granted, yes, it did help having the state tournament here in Cheyenne at Powers Field. That was certainly a great advantage.
The pressure's going to happen when they have to go up to Gillette this year, because they're hosting the tournament. But again, what you do now is you build the momentum, and you build the ball club. And again, you're getting a lot of different looks out there now. You got some holes you got to fill from last year's team.
But I'm just saying, though, it's more so for these kind of blowout victories. Yes, you are getting those youth, at least those younger players, some at least time, chances to get into the ball game. If that is what Ty did over this weekend, again, assuming so. And again, we'll talk with him coming up this week. But you get that experience. But is it something that also, too, hey, you put that at least too much in the mentality of those players, where now they expect it, even on the road, or at least here in teams in the state of Wyoming, where, okay, we just did this, we can do it again.
Now, this is a baseball team that is very even keeled, very level headed, and Ty will keep them that way.
I would hope so.
And again, too, the wins are against teams that are not that good.
That's why I'm saying it's not a true, in my opinion, it's not a true litmus test of what Post 6 can do. Like I said, I'm curious of, hey, starting out the gates like this, is it something that might hurt in the long run for Post 6?
Because a win's a win.
I
That's
get
the
that.
first thing. And again, I don't want to say this was like a glorified scrimmage. But
it felt like it when you got 15-1, 22-0.
I understand that, but also too, it's a confidence builder.
No, absolutely, it is.
And again,
but again, it's a confidence builder. But also too, does it put again? You got to understand. You're talking about level-headedness. Yes, I would absolutely. There's no doubt about it that Coach Lane and that whole organization there at Post 6 is going to keep them level-headed. But you got to get in the mind these are still high school students that hey, you get that little extra boost of confidence going. Oh, we just did that. We just saw this Rock Springs team and put up 35 runs against them. Well, we're going to see them again on Saturday on the road. Well, it doesn't matter if we are going up to Casper. They still got to travel as well, too. What says that we couldn't put up another 20 spot against this team? You kind of get in that fixation of where you get maybe a little too overconfident, or hopefully it does not bite them, though, in the end of going, okay, we just put up all this runs against them. They're not going to put up a fight. We can easily.
They also know they're going up to Casper, where Casper has quite a few folks already moving on to other.
I'm not even focused on Casper right now. You went against where I'm talking about. I'm just saying you saw Rock Springs twice this past weekend. You're going to see him again. Does that come into a little overconfidence? And again, where Jackson, the Giants,
you should never do that. You should never.
I'm just saying. That's good in theory, but you got to go into the minds.
It's not good in theory. That's the way you play the game. You never take anything for granted.
You're going to think whatever you want, and again, you're going against where I'm even at.
Well, I've played the game a hell of a lot longer than you have. And I know what it's all about. I've also managed. I know how to manage, too.
Yeah, you got kicked out of managing as well, too. That tells you how much you are. But either way, though, again, with Post 6, again, they'll be on the road coming up this weekend, Saturday and Sunday up in Casper. As, again, they'll see a lot of teams from the state of Wyoming. Again, Jackson, Rock Springs, Casper, and Sheridan, the four, at least, teams to see this weekend. And, again, we will talk with Ty Lane coming up at least this week on the show. Looking at the Cheyenne Mustangs, who were in action as well. They've already been in action. They were on the road in Billings, Montana, where they had a kind of a rough go of it up there. They did sneak away with one win. This weekend, Saturday, 2 games over at Pioneer Park, a doubleheader against Casper Crush, as we talked with Rick Thompson, a Casper Crush team that should be, at least was anticipated to be very good this season, do at least a little bit better than what they've had. Again, had a little veteran, at least returners back to that team. Casper Crush, again, game 1. Mustangs came out strong, had a good offense going. Again, bats were at least... It felt like it was in a good direction where Mustangs should take care of business in that first game. But then errors and just miscues, and again, the youth and inexperience by the Cheyenne Mustangs kind of elevated itself in that first game where Casper eventually came back, had a phenomenal just half inning, and eventually won that game 12-7. And then that doubleheader, at least second game, was not there for that contest, unfortunately. But again, 14-1 in favor of the Casper Crush. Again, 1-4 right now for the Cheyenne Mustangs. We all knew it was going to be a young team, a team that wasn't going to do, last year was something very special. It was kind of that right formula for the Cheyenne Mustangs of how they just went and cruised throughout last year, the regular season. This season, it's showing that it has the potential that it's going to be kind of growing pains throughout the season.
Wins are going to come very, very tough for this team. They're going to have to mature quickly, but again, it's how this team grows and how this team builds itself. Again, for all I care is April means nothing. June, July is when we start thinking about this is the teams we need to beat, or we need to be at this part. You could be 2-20 by the time you get to
yes and no, but for the Mustangs,
tournaments.
Again, this is a Casper team. Your only other Connie Mack team here in the state of Wyoming. You need to establish some sort of at least confidence where you can beat this team before you're heading down to these Colorado tournaments, taking on the Northern Colorado teams, inviting whoever up to the Mustangs Classic and the Memorial Classic. You need to focus on just winning here against local teams, or at least the one local product that is the Casper Crush. For the Cheyenne Mustangs coming up this weekend, they'll have a home and away doubleheader. On Saturday, they'll be on the road at Casper, taking on the Crush, 2-game series there, and then 2 games doubleheader on Sunday as they'll be back in Cheyenne over at Powers Field as they'll play host at Casper Crush. So you're going to have 2 weekends where you're going to see 6 times the Casper Crush team. We talk about overconfidence, or at least again where you're trying to get to mentalities in the right direction. This is where the Mustangs, not saying I don't want to say they're must wins, but you need to at least get one victory, if not two. Establish at home, and it maybe establish one on the road at Casper to get at least a little confidence in this team. If not, this is something that could snowball or at least trend into a bad situation for the Mustangs, where again you're seeing this team 6 times in a row, and if it results into 14-1 losses or something kind of on that same vein, that's not good. That is not good for this team for confidence.
Nobody likes to get their brains beat in. Ask Rock Springs.
I get that. I'm just saying it's something where we look at one direction for Post 6, the other direction for Mustangs, where again you have these blowouts right now. Obviously, will things change?
And right now, you don't even have the skipper here for the Mustangs as well. He's not going to be here until like May.
Yeah.
So again, it's kind.
I don't want to say. I'm just saying, are these April games just throwaways for the Mustangs?
I'm just what it is. It's a growing situation. The field folks for the Mustangs right now are trying to assess the talent they have, and then again too, they're going to take a lot of looks at various positions. And right now, you might.
I'm just saying it's very stress. It might be stress with the Mustangs because again, this is a team that is
maybe
very
not
young.
everybody's with the organization right now because there's other commitments going on until the end of school. So maybe not everybody's dressed right now. We don't know. How many guys did you see out there on Sunday or Saturday?
I couldn't put a number on it. I didn't count individually and go count heads. But it looked like it did have a decent, at least, support.
I'm just saying that, again, it's almost like every position, especially with all the graduation that they had last year, it seems like almost every position's up for grabs.
No, yeah, absolutely.
And talking with Rick, he said, same thing like we got from Ty, that they're on pitch counts right now. These guys are not ready to go 3, 5, 7, 8.
And I'm not even talking about the pitching, but again, in that first contest against Casper Crush, what was it? It wasn't so much pitching. Pitching seemed like it was doing well. It was more so just kind of fielding errors, miscues by just kind of simple plays of, okay, maybe throw it to the cutoff man instead of going for home plate or at least going for first base. Again, it was just kind of those simple kind of baseball skills that the Mustangs are trying to kind of work out here at the beginning areas. And again, hopefully they are able to. But I'm just saying, right now, after seeing these two contests, or at least seeing the results and just how Mustangs are starting off, hopefully it's something that does not continue on for the Mustangs this season, where for this weekend, for the Mustangs, at least for me to at least say, yes, okay, this team is starting to grow or at least understand, you need to at least get one.
And
get one win.
And here's what the coaching staff did this weekend, what you just said. All the mental mistakes that were made.
Oh, yeah, you analyze that, and absolutely
they wrote them down. Pitch counts were taken. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. And when they're practicing, that's what they're going to be working on. Hey, we missed the cutoff. We got to work on this. Hey, you at second base, you need to do this. And
again, this contest, or at least these two games on Saturday, it was a mixture of Mustangs, very young, very youthful, inexperienced. Again, a lot of mental miscues, but also, too, I give credit to Casper. Casper didn't give up, especially during that first contest where the Mustangs came out hot. Casper did not get down on themselves. They just fought back, added runs, made plays, and won that ball game. And then won the second ball game as well, too, in a dominating fashion, again, 14-1. It was a little bit of push and pull, but I would say it was more so on the Mustangs as a team kind of shooting themselves in the foot. And it's something where, is that something that is going to continue on through the season? Hopefully not. But it has to be a reality that we have to face with the Cheyenne Mustangs. Again, it's a team that is developing right now.
We're talking
it's going
5
through its
games
pains.
into the season, Nick.
I get that, but okay, we got early litmus tests right now.
Oh yeah, I understand that, but we already knew that this team was going to be young when they started. When you're young, what happens? You make mistakes.
I get that. I've just said that.
And
it's going through one ear and out the other.
No, I'm just, you're over here whining and griping about it.
I'm not. I'm just saying this is something for the Mustangs where you need to work this out now, because it might, it's not going to do you well if you start figuring it out once you get Baxter in as your manager come in May. You need to get this ironed out now so it doesn't become worse off.
And also, too, they need to figure out Who's going to be your starting right fielder? Who's going to be your starting center fielder? I'm sure jobs are still up for grabs. That's the way I would look at it. I would look at this right now for the Mustangs as a glorified spring training, and I would look at it all the way through the end of this month. Then when we get into May, then I would start saying, okay, here's my starters, here's my pitchers, here's my bullpen, and let's start winning. Or let's start playing the game a lot better.
Yeah.
And again, and with the young team that you have, if you can't do the job, then I've got somebody to replace you. That's the way it's going to be.
But do the Mustangs have that right now? They don't have that luxury.
Do they have the depth? I think they have the depth.
They got the feeder program, but again, it just gets younger from where they are already young.
And they already knew that. They knew.
I get that. I'm just saying they don't have that luxury though to go, hey, we got that AAA guy that can kind of place it.
I know, but it could be a rough season. Don't know.
Hopefully not.
Yeah. Well,
hopefully not.
Well, we'll have to catch every game this weekend, or throughout the course of the year, and see the improvement. Hopefully with the Mustangs. We do have to wrap things up here. Want to remind you, coming up from 8 until 9,